Boom. Hey, welcome. Welcome. There's one person, live attendees. How are you? Katrina, are you available to join on screen? Would you like to do that? Would you be able to do that? I would love to have you join and have a conversation with me. I was working with my sister's in town, and she's getting married, and we were working on a website. So, what are your plans for websites? What's the future for websites? This brings up a great topic that we could talk about on marketing ideas that work. I'm Russ Johns, Agency 258. My partner, Marian, LaSalle, she's actually hosting another event in Houston and will not be able to join us today. So I would love to have you join us, ask questions, have a discussion with us any time you want, and make sure that we can have find out what's working, for you, what you're noticing in marketing, what's taking place on social media, all of these ideas and expansions into new things that are coming out. What do you see that's taking place? And we had family in town for the last week and went to a few baseball games and had a great time. And I was thinking to myself, is there any way possible that we could actually do away with the website? What are the options? What are the alternatives? So I want to dive into that a little bit. Also, what's happening in the news? There's a few things. People are still getting the algorithms squared away in, Facebook. What is taking place in Facebook? What do you notice? And is there an opportunity? I'm going to say happening here. If I could type. And it's interesting to me to see how much my Facebook connections have dropped, and how much change there is. And I'm kind of curious if you have the same experience, and if there's anybody that you can actually point to and say they are really crushing it, and here's how they're doing it. Is there anyone that you know of? Is there anyone that you can actually suggest that is doing it? And are they paying for it? That's another topic that I wanted to kind of discuss a little bit today. So it's those kinds of activities that we want to put together in marketing ideas that work, right? So with that being said, there's a couple of things that are really top of mind. The one thing is that things are changing. Change is the only thing that's constant, right? Change will always be taking place. And you know that you have to adapt and really focus on what's taking place in social media to stay on top of it, because it's evolving so quickly. And at the same time, one of the things that's really consistent is it's all about relationships. Ultimately, people ask me all the time, it's like, well, how do you manage your social media accounts? And it's like, well, like ebb and flow. You have a few connections. You try to do your best at, staying on top of all of the connections, building relationships, developing the connections. And quite frankly, it's a challenge. And I have to ask myself, okay, Is having 1 million followers, is that a vanity? Is that ego? Is that business? What does that bring to the table? And I don't have 1 million followers, so I'm just throwing it out there. And the reality is that as you build your social media and your platforms, whether it's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, you have an opportunity to develop relationships. And these relationships can help you grow your platforms. And one of the things that you need to think about, or consider at least, is building a team around your social platforms to where you can actually have people that you know, like, and trust, and you know that they're going to appreciate what you're posting, and having an appreciation for what you post will also like and comment and share that information, because that's really what it's about, is how can we get more information out there if nobody sees it, nobody likes it, nobody shares it at all. So the question then becomes, how do you develop content that gets shared? Well, practice, noticing what is being really productive online. Is it the style in the writing? Is it the images? Is it video? What is it that resonates with you? What do you notice? How is it structured? A lot of people go through their day and they don't even think about those kinds of questions. They think about, oh, that's pretty. Oh, cat video. Oh, squirrel. Oh, nice. However, from a marketing perspective, you have to start thinking about what is working, what is producing benefits, what's moving the needle for you. Ultimately, moving the needle requires you to get people to notice you, which social media is really great at when it's working for your benefit. And then you have to have a conversation with them. Every time you turn around, it's as if, what's the conversation that's taking place? Are you doing a blog post? Are you posting videos online? Does the call to action go back to your website? Does it go back to a landing page that provides them with a social video that they say, because they can see your personality, right? Whether we like it or not, people gravitate to people that they know, like, and trust. And if they continue to be engaged with that individual, then they can actually do business when they need the services, products, whatever the person is providing. People forget that. They want to believe that, rainbows and unicorns exist, and that, oh, I'll find the perfect person when I need them. Well, sometimes the perfect person is somebody that you already know. A lot of people, they're not really sure what I do, and that's kind of by design and kind of by accident and out of fear too. I don't always share with everybody what I do, because it's like, okay, if you like me, you'll ask me, and you'll hire me. Agency 258 is really focused on building systems that allow you to stay engaged with your audience. We have a product right now that is phenomenal, and it's just insane what it's doing for our business. And it's very simple process. You receive a landing page, you receive a sales video, a social video. It's not broadcast, it's not Hollywood video. It's a social video, though. It's just like this, or it could be a slide deck of things that you have in your products and services. It's an explanation of saying, hey, I met you, I wanted to follow up with you, and here's a couple of things. Let's get on a phone call. And then you drop a calendar app in there. Calendly is what we use typically. So a person on LinkedIn, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, Russ Johns, or it's actually LinkedIn/IN/next step next. And you can search Russ Johns and book Russ. If you click on bookruss.com, it'll actually take you to a page that allows you to book time, right? So imagine, if you will, you're at an event, you meet somebody, you connect with them on LinkedIn, you follow up with a message, and you say, hey, I just wanted to follow up. And then you email them. They receive a link to your landing page. It says, hey, I'd love to connect a little more. Schedule a time. Let's schedule a time and book it. And what happens is, a lot of times people only follow up one time. If they follow up, they only follow up one time. And so what we've created is the opportunity to follow up again. It's like, hey, I know I sent you an email the other day, wanted to follow up with you again, and to make sure that we could follow up and have a conversation, phone call or coffee or whatever. And let's learn more about each other and how we can help each other in the business. They're either going to open it or they're not. So to some people, this is aggressive and obnoxious, and to other people, it's brilliant. And if you are the type of person that needs to follow up with somebody, it's called Follow Up Leads, followupleads.com. It'll take you there. And I just want to make sure that people have the tools that are necessary to join and connect with their community. Between Marian and I, we've been in technology and web development and marketing for decades, literally a long time. And we see social media evolving. We see social media taking place, and there's so many people. There are two camps. One side of the equation is, social media doesn't do anything for me. It's a waste of time. It's a time suck, and I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't want to deal with it. People that own typewriters said that. It's like, this computer thing will never take off. It'll never happen. It's evolution. I started out in billboards in 1985. Billboards, when they used to paint them by hand. We had big lifts that painted those, artists up there painting billboards. And there were sections, and people would lift those sections up on the signs. And I was a bill poster. They would take, literally, it would be paper that was printed out with paper, or actually hand-drawn paper, and fold it up with some wheat paste, and you take it up there with a brush and brush it on. It was an interesting job. It was a fascinating job until I fell 3 stories and broke my arm, which is another story. My point is, industries have evolved. The outdoor industry, there's no painters now. It's all printed. All those billboards are now printed out on large format printers. The crews have, evolved and changed. You still have to get, equipment up there, and it's different. It's evolved. And so evolving with it, is a good strategy for marketing. You know, marketing is still relationship-based marketing. It's emotional. It's passion. It's that trigger that says, okay, I want to fear of missing out, FOMO, you know, it's pain. I got to solve this. I got to, you know, here, get this cleaner, like kapow. You got a dirty wall? Let's kapow, clean it, right? Clean wall. Before, after, and the bridge. I got a dirty wall. I got some cleaner. I'm going to have a clean wall. Kapow, boom, cleaned it. You know, pain. I got a headache. I'm going to take some aspirin. Excedrin, whatever. You know, so social media is part of the equation, and the goal on social media is to actually develop a conversation, take that conversation offline, and create an opportunity to build a relationship with people so they know, like, and trust you. It's simple. Let me tell you a story. It was like, you know, people. I created a video one time. This is a number of, and I said the simplest way to start a podcast. I was managing a radio station in Houston, Texas, and actually 3 stations. And we were actually putting together a team of broadcasters that would go out and record varsity games and rebroadcast those games so we could actually share with the community. It was a community station. And the interesting thing about it is that back in the radio days when I was, you know, in Seattle in radio, it was a big deal to go out and do a remote broadcast. There were a lot more involvement, engineers, you know, trucks, things like that. And with the technology that existed and where software was going with wireless, all of a sudden it was an opportunity where you could actually broadcast from your phone or an iPad. And we could actually, I put this together and I created a video on the easiest way to start a podcast. Well, it picked up. I went and taught a workshop at Podcast Movement. And, you know, it's simple to get noticed. It's easy to get content out there. It's easy to build content. What's challenging is taking it to the next level and actually having a conversation. So social media works. It's not a matter if you need social media. It's a matter how you're going to use social media. So marketing ideas that work. So the second topic we wanted to talk about was Facebook and the algorithm. You know, Facebook has changed the algorithm. LinkedIn has changed their algorithm. You know, Snapchat is kind of changing, evolving. I spent a lot more time on Instagram and LinkedIn than I do on Facebook. However, YouTube, I'm starting to post more on YouTube, and we're actually Agency 258. We're also working on a few experiments, so stay tuned. Around flexible lifestyles. You know, a lot of what people think, I think the FOMO, and I'd love to hear your advice. I'd love to hear what you're saying. Hey, Vicky, how are you? I just noticed you're in the room. Thank you for dropping by. And so one of the things that I would really like to plant the seed with is on YouTube is this idea that I think the real goal of being online is the opportunity to build flexibility into our life. You know, there's over 3 billion people online. And say, for instance, you could only touch a fraction of those individuals. If you could help a fraction of those individuals with the expertise and the intelligence and the gifts that you bring to the table. And you could package those up, and you could find, let's say 500 people, 1,000 people that are interested in your products and services. I mean, if you had 1,000 clients right now, you'd probably be having a different story, right? I know I would. If I had 1,000 people that were I was engaged with actively, and they were spending money on my products and services and my ability to get out there. I'm not there yet, and I will be. And I hope, I mean, my goal is to help a lot of people and reach out. And that's my passion, is I want to help a lot of people. I want to help you get online. I want to help you produce results. I want to help you put systems in place that allow you to do that. Agency 258 is focused on, helping you do that. And then also, follow-up leads is a brilliant strategy for pulling all this stuff together and maintaining a connection. When I first started out in email, it was probably 1995. And I was in Portland, Oregon at the time, and I was working as a safety director / IT director. I was migrating into technology, and email was just starting to evolve. And so I've seen the evolution, and with messengers bots on Facebook and all of these things, people say email is dead, and that's so far from the truth. We get frustrated with email. Back in the AOL days, remember AOL? You've got mail. Yeah. Now we say, oh, I've got mail. So much mail. And we still use it. We still communicate with it. And we have an opportunity to use what works. You own your email list. You don't own your Facebook. Facebook could shut you off at any time. YouTube, just recently, Adpocalypse, you're going to get demonetized on your accounts if you don't have enough volume there. And I understand, I don't think YouTube has ever earned any money. They're still running at a startup investment phase. So they're looking at ways of figuring out how they can increase and improve their monetization, because Amazon's got video coming, Facebook has video coming. All of these changes and all these things are evolving over time. So use social media to get people to have a conversation, then use email to nurture and maintain the conversation with everybody. When you boil it down to it, it's really simple. I mean, you think, okay, well, A, B, and C, always be communicating. Unless you're Grant Cardone, it's always be closing or something like that. I don't know, Grant. I don't know. Maybe that's what he says. And if you never start and you never get going, it's not going to work out for you, because you have to have that awareness on social media. Unless you're, you got a budget for television and radio and billboards and traditional media. Social media is more cost effective. You can measure it. You know exactly where people are going. You can actually look at the facts, and you can look at the data and say, okay, well, they came to my landing page, but they didn't click. They came to my landing page and they didn't click. It's like, why are they not clicking? Well, maybe it's the messaging. So you can adjust the messaging. You can test that. They're not calling me. They're not reaching out. Well, how do they do that? Is it too difficult? Is it not clear? All of these things are ways that we can actually evolve and develop useful tools. Agency 258 can help you do that. help you with your strategy, get you on board, and also, follow-up leads. I encourage you to drop me a line, Russ at agency258.com. Marian will be here next week. We'll be back. We've got a lot of exciting things planned. We're wrapping up the first quarter of 2018. It's an exciting time. It's a very exciting time. And I just encourage you to think about the ways and the opportunities you have to build an audience, build a community. It's about relationships. It's not about numbers and people and egos and, how many shares can I get? It's about how many people can I connect with, build a relationship with, and actually do good work. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you, Vicki, for being here. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to wrap it up. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Time, Marketing Ideas That Work. You can find us on YouTube. Like and share. Really appreciate you if you'd subscribe to this channel. And we're going to be adding more things to the channel. And also, you can find us at agency258.com. And, we're not going away. We're here to help you. And the only way we can help you is if you ask questions. So we're on Crowdcast every week. You can send questions. You can connect with us on email. You can actually engage with us in here. You can do any. Oh, thank you, Vicki. We love having you here. I hope you're doing well. And so I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to receive the help that you deserve to succeed in your business, your life, and get your message out to the world. So I'm Russ Johns, Agency 258. Marian and I will be back next week to have another session of Marketing Ideas That Work. So until then, you enjoy your day. Thanks, Vicki. Take care.